is Trans Visibility Day. Is it nationwide? Is it statewide? Nationwide Trans Visibility Day at each capital of each state. And we're here to cover it.
About what happened, about violence against the transgender community, the discrimination, police as well. Yeah, because Tony McDade was shot and killed by the police.
Where was that?
A black trans man.
Recently?
Yeah. A year or two ago, I believe.
Okay.
The police.
But it's been going on, right?
Police shot a trans woman in Los Angeles. She called for help, and then the police killed her. The police shot her.
In LA?
In LA, recently.
Recently. But it's been going on, right?
It's been going on for a long time.
As long as there's been marginalized communities, there's been police to kill them.
You're trans and black and brown at the same time. Yeah, you're it's just police will shoot you.
Yeah.
Because you're brown and black.
And
trans.
And it's right next
and
to
homeless.
your
And homeless. And,
They basically said they'd do it to my attorney. He's a rich white man. They said if you were on the streets out here, would he arrest him for just existing? He said yes. So it's war.
And it's honoring those that are more visible. You gotta be more visible than ever before. You gotta be more visible than ever before. To show people that, that we're not going anywhere. Trans people are not gonna go nowhere.
Otherwise, if you're not visible, you'll disappear, right? They'll disappear you like they did a lot of people, cultures.
They want to disappear us out of existence. They want us to, they're pushing us out of existence. That's what these politicians want.
They just want everybody to look like this guy right here. You look like that guy, you're fine. You look like this guy, you're going to be outlawed. Am I correct? If you look like this lady, you'll be outlawed. They did try and disappear us, right?
Yeah.
Thank you, he said. You hear that? It's the white privilege. They love it. What if we were white dudes in a suit? How would we feel?
Even in our own community, it's sad, but in our own community, they even kill transgender people. But the police have been killing transgender people recently now, even now, years back too, and now.
And there they are, the police. How lucky we are, fortunate. All right, I'll try to get some B-roll. I'm not talking to clowns at all, not even a little bit.
But seeing just one character say, "This is who I am," just as rigid,
Everyone.
it can start a chain reaction that will change everything.
We're here at the...
But as y'all have, and I know I've talked a lot about systems, setbacks, and moments of clarity, but if there's one message I hope that lands today, it's this. That maybe this clarity just came way too late, but it didn't. And I've seen that truth in others too. People in their 40s, 50s, even 70s, beginning their transitions, finding happiness, choosing themselves, maybe even for the first time in their own lives. Of course, age brings its own challenges.
Under attack once more under the guise of choice. Women are dying because they are denied the necessary health care that would save lives, and where's the choice in that? We can choose the billionaire to which we give money to, money that should be going to public education, to our teachers, to our children's futures, but we can't choose to save our women. Fuck that. Instead of addressing the rising cost of living, people like Representative Brent Money want to legislate the health care of trans people. How does that help anyone, much less the people of Texas? It doesn't. I'm not really painting a great picture here, am I? I did say that I do know that it looks bleak, but that's not the future that I see panning out. It might get worse than it is now. It's always been the darkest before dawn, and sometimes the worst of humanity comes out before it can be reeled back in. After all that is said and done, though, love will prevail. We've seen this with the lesbian and gay communities. From the apathy of the AIDS crisis to the legalization of same-sex marriage, our community has prevailed before, and it will prevail again. Thanks to history, we know this is possible, but it will require work. Some of us will have to stand our ground even when it's easier and safer to do so. Some of us will need to aspire to be something more, ambassadors for our community, to represent us to the greater populace in halls of power, like the one behind me. Some of us will need to become teachers, to be open to the ignorance, so that way we can work to dispel it. We will need to be open and free to show the world our joy when we are empowered to be our truest selves. The work is hard, and the work is exhausting, but the work is worth it. It softens hearts and it broadens minds. It creates instead of destroys, preserves instead of ruins. And right now, that work is sorely needed. It is part of the reason why I am out here today. One of my friends asked me why I'm doing all of this, why I don't just leave this to other people. Well, that was the issue, wasn't it? I would be hoping that someone else stood up and did the work. Work that I knew had to be done. And quite frankly, I couldn't give a damn who did it as long as it got done. So why not me? Why wait for someone else? They said that they didn't understand. We both remembered his first term, how chaotic it was, but ultimately, we survived because adults were in the room keeping his worst impulses in check. We both recognized that this term was going to be a lot worse, that he was essentially unfettered and empowered to act on those worst impulses. For the most part, we weren't wrong about that assessment. My friend said that I was going to be a minor obstacle before them, that I am small and they are large. For my own sake, I should keep my head down. Does that sound like an option? No! I'm sorry, I'm a little hard of hearing. Can I hear that again? Is that an option? No! Hell no, it is not. I agreed with some of their assessment. I am small. I don't have the kind of power that they wield. Alone, I could not affect the change that I would hope to see. I also disagreed with her course of action. I should not keep my head down. That is compliance. That is accepting that they have won. Have they won? No! I'm sorry, y'all. I really am hard of hearing. Have they won? No! No, they have not. The fact that I stand before you, all of you today, is proof that they have not. Together, our voices are not small. Together, our power outweighs theirs. Yes! Together, we can bring about the kind of change that we want to see in the world. And that's the real power of communities. They can band together and make small and individual voices louder than can ever be ignored. It is why there is a campaign to separate the T, the Q, and the plus from LGBTQ+. It is why there is a campaign to vilify immigrants, so people won't blink when their neighbor is scooped up by ICE. It is why there is a campaign focused on manufactured conflicts to divide us up and prevent us from focusing on the things that matter. So when they try to tear down your community, you need to understand why. It's because they fear the power that you have when you are united. They will do everything in their vast powers to break your community apart, whether it's widening the rifts between individuals or enacting laws to scare you into hiding. Know that you will never find a perfect ally to your cause, and know that should never dissuade you from standing with them for that cause. Realize that the forces that you are opposing are trying to scare you and divide you because you scare them. So stand united, show solidarity, offer love before judgment, embrace each other, because Goddess knows that we need it. The trans community across the states is under attack. but nowhere is nearly as bad as Texas. To give everybody an idea of just how vehemently some of our representatives are attacking the trans community, I would like to point out that there are about 800 bills across the country that target trans people in some form or another. Whether that's ending the legal recognition, bans covering everything from bathrooms to pronouns, or limiting or outright banning gender-affirming care with exceptions carved out for select groups and conditions. I don't think I need to list what groups are the exceptions. Coming in second place for the most bills of this nature is Missouri with a sturdy 68 of them. But Texas insists on doing things big, so naturally we sport over 120 anti-trans bills. We have about 58 more than second place. Second place has 68. That's almost double. Now, forgive my language, but that's fucking absurd. They are obsessed with a group that comprises somewhere between 0.5% to 2% of the global population. In Texas, there's an estimated 122,000 trans people out of a population of 31 million. That's about 0.4% of the population. We don't even reach the lowest global estimate, yet representatives like Tom Oliverson and Brent Money feel the need to regulate our lives as if we were a threat. And they aren't even the worst. Representative Steve Toth of the Texas House and Senator Bob Hall of the Texas Senate have submitted the most anti-trans legislation in their respective chambers this year alone. I'm sorry, I really am hard of hearing. How do you guys feel about that? This isn't just for me, it's for the legislatures behind me. It's seeing numbers like that and understanding the full scope of what we face here in Texas that made me want to do more. What I've done in the past 2 months has felt incredible, but I want to do more than that. I want to be for Texas what Zoe Zephyr is for Montana. I want to be in those chambers behind me, standing up for what is right. Standing up for myself and my community. Standing up for Texans of all stripes. I feel like that is where I can make the most meaningful difference for my people. And I know I have a long way to go and a lot to learn, but I have a goal, I have a purpose, and I have a community. I know that I have been talking about the shift in rhetoric to target trans adults. It would be a disservice to my community if I did not mention the kids, the main target for years now. There are children out there across the state who are frightened. They recognize that the gender assigned to them at birth was not the correct one. They see how their teachers are attacked for trying to stand up for them. They hear their friends and their family espouse rhetoric that pushes them deeper into the closet. Nearly 50% of LGBTQ+ youth have experienced bullying in the past year alone. Nearly 50% of trans youth and non-binary youth and their families have considered moving to a different state. Nearly 50% of trans youth. A particular rally had started. I was still recovering from my trip to DC, and I managed to put together a list of every little thing that I need to pull this off. With the help of Bree Taylor, the founder of the Trans Unity Coalition, I was able to begin the process of submitting the permit application and finding volunteers. With the help of JL, one of our speakers today, I was able to find a broader community within the ranks of Texas 5051 who was sympathetic to our cause. And with everyone's help, we were able to reach out to the community and get you all out here today. I am proud for giving other queer folks the opportunity to be seen and to be heard. For as long as I have the power to platform my community, particularly trans folks of color, I will continue to do so. Yes. I will continue to explore ways to increase turnout, to keep y'all safe, during these events and make sure that the voices you hear today and in the future are diverse and reflective of your experience. That's a damn tall order, and one that I will need as much help as you are all willing to give. I will never ask you to do something beyond your means. If you can't come up here and speak before a crowd, maybe you can talk to me one-on-one so that I can hear your story and share it with the world. We're all in this together, and we all have our parts to play. I see myself taking on a larger role here in Texas to represent all of you at a level where real change can occur, to give you the representation that we so desperately need. Maybe you see yourself taking on the same role. Maybe that's inconceivable to you, but you know you can do something else, like showing up to a trans right rally, or sharing a flyer on Instagram, or posting it in the window of your favorite coffee shop. We all have our parts to play, and everyone's role is vital. I hope that you can find the talent, the skill, or the drive to make a contribution to the cause. And if not, please come find me, and I will help you search. Thank you all for coming out here today. My name is Melody Tremolo, and I guarantee this will not be the last time you see or hear of me. Now, if we have a Chloe Wilkinson in the crowd, if she could please come up to the stage so she can speak. No? Okay, we'll give her a chance to speak later. Hunter Bledsoe, are you here? Hunter, if we could hear your voice today, we would be honored. Everybody put your hands together for Hunter Bledsoe.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I'm Hunter Bledsoe. I'm a trans man, and my pronouns are he, him. I'm very glad to be with you here today. I appreciate you coming out. Now, I'm not excited about the circumstances that bring us here, but I am excited to be with my chosen family. Even if we've never met, the people here today joining us at this rally are my chosen family. I have brothers and sisters and siblings who have come before me and who will come after me. We have allies joining us today who are also our family of choice, our brothers, our sisters, our siblings. You see, my family of birth would never be here today, supporting me and fighting for my right to be who I am. But my family of choice, you all, and people in many different cities across the world today are here fighting for me, and I'm fighting for you. I led a portion of our service yesterday at the UU congregation that I attend. It was the Trans Visibility Day, and I referenced a poem by Pastor Martin Niemöller, First They Came. I'm sure we're all familiar with that poem. But I wasn't happy with that poem expressing what we're dealing with today. So I took the liberty of rewriting it. Now I'm going to read the first line, and then you all know how it goes after that, right? You say, and I did not speak out because I was not, and whatever I had named, right? So let's try this. First they came for immigrants, and I did not speak out because I was not an immigrant, okay? Then they came for the BIPOC community, and I did not speak out because I was not BIPOC. And I did not, they came for the trans community, and I did not speak out because I was not trans. Then they came for the LGBTQ plus community, and I did not speak out because I was not LGBTQ. Then they came for the women, and I did not speak out because I was not a woman. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak for me. Now, I didn't like that ending either, so I kind of rewrote it. Because if you take it a step farther, You see that during the civil rights movement, the KKK and the white supremacists tried to erase the African American people, put them back in slavery using the 13th Amendment. Our government is trying to erase immigrants, even disappearing them right now. They're coming for the trans community by trying to make it a criminal offense, a fraud, to be who we are. They want to disappear us, but we won't let that happen. So, my rewrite of the last line of the poem reads like this. Then they came for me, and we spoke out for you because we would not be erased. So I want everybody to say that with me. And we spoke out for you because we would not be erased. I need to hear it one more time. We spoke out for you because we would not be erased. All right.
We're not going nowhere.
Right. Now, I know I'm preaching to the choir, and, you know, we must fight. What others don't understand is that we know rights are not a pie. When I gain rights equal to yours, it doesn't make you lose any rights. It's not our job as humans to understand everything or everyone. It is our responsibility to respect others and their right to be. I don't know about you, but I don't have enough. I spend enough time worrying about myself to worry about a lot of other people. And I don't have the bandwidth to worry about somebody's got a different religion than me. Somebody eats different than I do. I don't care. But when it comes to their beliefs infringing on my very right to exist, I don't have the luxury to ignore that difference. I don't have the privilege to let them just be when they are fighting to erase me and people like me. I also know that in my fight, I have my family of choice right beside me. What this means is when my family has someone trying to erase them, I must join the fight. You see, I was late in life coming out as trans. When I was growing up, when I was little, gay meant happy in the songs. Okay? I didn't have any role models. I was raised in a very privileged middle-class family in a nice neighborhood in a small town, and it was, as far as I knew, I thought that was just normal. But I never felt normal. I never felt like I really fit in. Growing up in a Southern Baptist home, I knew that if I expressed what I was feeling, it was not going to go well. And it didn't. Now, what I realized, though, in the broader community, I wasn't mocked. I really was accepted pretty well. So that was nice. But what I saw, and I had a hard time with, I couldn't understand why gay men were being targeted, harassed, and bullied, especially during the AIDS crisis. It just didn't make sense to me. Again, I was late to the party when it came to my activism. It was around 2002 that I began in earnest with my activism in the LGBTQ plus community. I could not understand why people had to be in other people's business. I didn't understand what all the judgment was about, but I realized I couldn't stand on the sidelines anymore. You see, I lived in Florida at the time. I was a co-chair of St. Augustine Pride in St. Augustine, Florida. If you're familiar with St. Augustine, there is a bridge called the Bridge of Lions that goes across the Intercoastal Waterway. And they fly flags across the bridge. Well, we wanted to fly flags, our rainbow flags, over the bridge during our week-long celebration of Pride. So in 2003, we went to the city council and asked for permission to fly the flags. And they told us no. Okay, so we go back to 2004. And of course, they said no again. Well, now me, being me, I need to know why. So I said, why? Why can't we fly? And the mind-bending, twisting, and how I figured out, well, how do we answer that question? Which is quite funny. They said, well, it's got to be something historically significant. Okay, so I had an answer. I had something to go on. Well, we spent the next year researching, and guess what? The city of St. Augustine was the site of the first hate crime against our country recorded in what is now called the United States. There had been a Spanish soldier hung for being gay. Historically significant to me. So back to the city council we go. We provided them with all of our research, and guess what? They still said no. At that point, I reminded them what they had told me the year before. And I said, I don't know how much more historically significant you can get. And they said, well, yeah, no. Well, so that began my days of defiance. I guess I can either thank or other people can blame the city of St. Augustine for my activism today. You see, my co-chair and I contacted Equality Florida and the National Center for Lesbian Rights, and we sued the city of St. Augustine, Florida in federal court. And we won! So, they had to allow us to fly the flags, and they also had to pay $27,000 for our attorney's fees. That was an expensive no for them. My point of telling you this story is to make it clear to those of you all who are buying into the lie that one person cannot make a difference, that there's nothing you can do to stop them. That's a lie. I was no one special. I had just had enough and wasn't going to be quiet anymore and was going to fight. I would never have believed in my wildest dreams that my life would take a path that brought me to suing a city in federal court. But it did. We must fight like hell. You can make a difference. Our allies can make a difference. We, alongside our chosen family, can and will make a difference. We don't have the luxury to stay silent. Many of our siblings are hiding in fear. We must fight for them. You see, so many cisgender people sit around and wonder what they would have done in Germany during Hitler's reign of terror. They want to believe that they would have stood up. Well, I'm here to tell you to quit patting yourself on the back and thinking what I would have done. Because what you're doing right now in the fight for trans people and their right to exist is exactly what you have done back then. Those who are allies, those who are not allies, need to come down from their place of privilege and do now what they think they would have done back then. Get to know us. Learn to love and respect us. We are some of the funniest, bravest, most loyal and loving people you'll ever have the chance to know. We are human beings living on the same planet, and we deserve to be free. And you just might learn that when they come for you, we will speak out because we will not be erased. So on this day of trans visibility, may we all look around at our siblings and our allies, our family of choice, and see and know that we are loved, and let those people know that you love and care for them. Right now, I want you to take just a second. I want you to look around into the eyes of other people, and I want you to tell them, I love you, and I care for you, and I will fight for you just the way you are.
I love you, Lord.
Care for you. Okay. Thank you. But you know what that could mean to people? It may be the only time today, this week, or this month that they've ever been told they're loved just the way they are. So I end with this. Yes, we must stand and fight together. We must not forget, though, to remind the people in our community, in our circles of allies, that they are loved and appreciated and needed. We must fight who we must fight, and we must love even harder the people that are joining us in the fight. Thank you, and I love you. I will fight for you, each and every one of you, just the way you are. Namaste.
Everybody give a big round of applause for Hunter. And thank you all again for coming out today. Do we have Chloe Wilkinson in the audience? No? Okay, that's okay. At this point, we're going to open up the floor to our community. If you have something you'd like to say, please line up over here and we'll get you a chance.
What's up, Chloe? I know you want to. There's something I haven't heard yet.
Come on up.
I'm a 74-year-old straight guy. I have a beautiful trans son, married to a beautiful woman standing over here. I want you to know that you are not alone outside your immediate community. We heard earlier today about making connections to everyone that you meet. So when this gentleman with the Confederate flags is coming down, you know, it's an act of kindness, it's a small gesture that might help him to think that we're not all, you know, evil. I went over and helped him down. And that kind of behavior, we're angry. I'm angry every day at the destruction of our constitutional democracy. I'm angry at how trans are being treated and threatened and need to move out of state. But there's things you can do to connect to the larger community. You can call your friendly legislators, Democrats, every day and give them words of encouragement. You can call Cruz and Cornyn every day and leave words of anger. And enough of that happens, they have to start paying attention. But you are not alone. You have lots of allies. Trump won less than 50% of the popular vote. And there's a lot of Democrats across the country, maybe not so much in Texas. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, you're not alone.
Yay. Okay.
Hi, I didn't really prepare for this speech, but I came out here. It's great to see you out here. Stay strong, stay liberated, body autonomy, fuck the fascists. We don't need a government of minority in Texas. So please get out and vote next time. And it's coming up, so get ready. But anyway, I just wanted to say I'm going to go down the rabbit hole of trans and LGBT history in Austin. I've been here since 1983. Oh, my name is Lisa Cameron, by the way. So the first time that I learned about transgender things to do in Austin is I met somebody who had a group called Austin's Second Image, and that was probably in the early 90s, late 80s. And I met with this person and they said, okay, come to our group. And it was like a cross-dressers group out in, it was out in Cedar Park. And I went out there I was scared, you know, I'd never worn any women's clothes in public before, and I went to this thing and I felt welcomed. And so I kept going to the meetings, and then found out more and more about the different transgender umbrella groups that were here. There were the transsexuals, there were the cross-dressers. There really wasn't transgender then. It was more like transsexuals and cross-dressers, gay and lesbian. So it wasn't GLBT yet. So I used to go to LGRL, Lesbian, Gay, and Rights Lobby of Texas, and we would come down here and meet them, and at their office, and we would make postcards to send to all the legislators about how they needed to support gay marriage in Texas. So I decided to go around door to door and talk to people about gay marriage in Texas, and that was quite a while ago. And so I started going to more political things, and through LGRL, I learned that there was a lesbian and gay lobby day here at the Capitol. So the group that I was in then, we were starting to form, and I was a forming member of this group, Transgender Advocates of Central Texas. And the way that that came about was that there was a person from Bastrop who I can't remember, but she was a trans person, and she wanted to enshrine legal rights for housing, employment, and the ability to get medical care in the city charter. So we met with the Mike Martinez at that time, and we got those three things in the city charter. And so then we started Transgender Advocates of Central Texas. And it was a very small group, but Lisa Sheps was a member, and I can't remember a lot of the people that were in it. But we came up here for lobby day for the gay and lesbians. They didn't want us to march with them. They just wanted a gay and lesbian march. So we waited for them at the gates, and they came up, and we went into lobby day with them. So that was a huge, huge thing. Then they started accepting us. Before that, it was like you had to tack the T up on LGB. First it was L, then G, then B, then T was kind of tacked up there. And then, of course, the Human Rights Campaign, they were trying to pass a Equal Rights Amendment, and then Barney Franks, who was an out gay person, he said that Congress was not ready for a trans inclusive bill. So we campaigned against it. The Human Rights Campaign would actually, if trans people came up and tried to protest in Houston, it actually happened that a friend of mine was taken to, they called the cops on her because she was like, she said, okay, you're not supporting trans people in this bill, why not? And she just stood out of this giant event in Houston, and this was probably early 90s. And so then that same day that we came and went into lobby days, it was the first day I'd ever been in public and address. And I came here, and I was standing right down there by that gate, and I was saying, like, I need to go to the bathroom really bad because there were no bathrooms. So this woman, Sarah, who is a transgender activist lawyer from Houston, I can't remember her name, she took me by the hand and brought me in here, and this is the first place I went to the women's bathroom. It's right in here. And ever since then, I've gone to the women's bathroom or the bathroom of my choice. And I always will continue, and I tell you all to do it. Yeah, girl. You got to do it. Because if you don't do it, then they're going to notice that, and they're going to think you're scared. But that's what we cannot be anymore. We can't be scared because they are really breathing down our necks, and they want to get rid of us. I will never forget when I went to another transgender lobby day here, and we were in Representative, or maybe he was a senator then, I don't know, Sid King and Sid Miller. Yeah, we went into his office. He's now the Secretary of Agriculture now. We went to his office, and they said that he wasn't there. He said, okay, well, we're just going to sit here and wait. And the aide said, okay, just sit here, he'll be back. And then we waited for an hour and a half. Nobody came in. He finally came out of the door, and he looked at us and pointed a finger at us and said, we're going to get rid of all of y'all. And ever since that moment, it galvanized me. And I want to say the same. When they start doing that stuff, don't pay attention. Do what you need to do. It may be dangerous now. I don't know, but I don't care. Because I'm in this, and I hope y'all are too. And I feel a solidarity. I have a solidarity with everyone whose rights are being infringed on, everybody who's being oppressed, every racial group, every economic group, anybody who is being oppressed, I am in solidarity with. Thank you.
No, it goes great. You did a great job. Let's give it one more time. Was it Lisa? And just real quick, because I do know how much work it takes to even organize something like this, between the emails that have to get written, the send outs, you know, it's a lot of work. So let's give one more really loud shout out to Melody for putting this together. My name is Maine. I am a combat veteran. I served OEF, thinking I was doing something very, very good for this country. When I came home from Afghanistan in 2009, I had suffered an IED, and I had to take a permanent medical retirement. I felt very lost. However, I returned to my home state, Maine, where I was very blessed to the LGBTQ community, and I did not understand the segregation that was starting to happen in our country. I was very blessed to have a very welcoming environment, and so when I returned to Texas, this is where all the friends I had served with in the military, a lot of them were still here, and I ended up coming down here. And feeling that hate, feeling what I served for, I started to feel very lost. I used substances for over 2 years, and I was literally trying to kill myself through the use of using. I did not feel a purpose, and I do know what it is like to feel without hope. When I listened to the speakers today, there was one word that kept coming to mind: hope. Real quick, let's just do a quick 360 and look around you. This is hope. This is light. And this is love. This is what it looks like. What I wanted to share was, I'm just kind of free in this this time. I'm usually just the hype person, like, let's go! And one time, let's just do, hate won't make us great. Hate won't make us great. 3 times. Hate won't make us great. Hate won't make us great. Hate won't make us great. Yeah. You feel that? That's called momentum. I believe in spirituality. I believe in energy. I think that when we all come together, and I've been coming to these protests almost every Friday and Saturday that have been going on. I was here for the veteran one. I'll be here next Saturday. Show up, huh? Show up. Right now, when I look around, I feel more empowered than I ever felt holding an M4 and fucking fucking Jalalabad, Afghanistan. I feel more like a fucking warrior now than I ever have. But so should you. You are now our battle buddies. You are now our ride or dies. You don't need that gun. You have a voice and you have light. Have you watched these guys go by in suits? And all these people? No, I'm not blaming them. But have you watched them enter? They're so segregated. They're odd. They think about our genitalia. That is sexual harassment. I encourage everybody to get with their local precincts. I encourage everybody to call their local Democratic club. I encourage you to get involved and show people that we are here and they are lost. Okay? Now, I'm not a Christian and I don't believe in religion, but that's my own path. But I do believe in goddesses. I do believe in energy. And I do believe in manifestation. And I do believe in love and light. All together, we are light workers. We charge our batteries by coming to these rallies. It's important for us to remember there are so many different people on so many different journeys. It is important that we show everybody that one word. There is hope. We are the hope. We must continue showing up. I just wanted to say thank you all so much. It means more to me to show up and see this than it ever did when I returned to that gym from Afghanistan. My favorite poem is Desiderata. I don't know if any of you have read it, and if there's more time after, I'll read it to you if anybody wants, but I would like to give others a chance to speak. In fact, next up's going to be my beautiful son, and my future generation, senior, and you're damn right we kept him out of school to be here today, huh? Yeah! You all want to know how I got sober, and this is what I leave to the Republicans and to the Trump people and to the MAGA and Christian elitists, all these nasty people. I just give you this. You say thank you for your service, yet you make me feel like I have to hide. You tell me you honor us veterans, yet us veterans are trans too. You say we're Americans and patriarchy and all this stuff. Fuck the patriarchy. That shit is old as it comes. The God I would believe in and the goddesses show love. We all have a definite purpose on this world, okay? We all have a purpose. And sometimes we flicker around until we find the right one. But we are all in motion, and when you strip us of our clothes and you strip us of our money, there are 5 survival needs that we all show, because at the end, we are all humans that require oxygen, heat, shelter, food, water. What makes you so different from me, MAGA? What makes you be better than me with your billions of dollars that you're taking away from the education system? And what the hell is volunteer firemen? Those firemen are putting their life in danger every single day breathing in smoke. Volunteer? They need money. They deserve it. Taken away, look at all the homeless that we deal with. It breaks my heart. I could keep going, and I want to share the mic. But just know I am amongst one of many veterans of my community where our heart breaks. And I know
There's a lot of cops here today, by the way, y'all.
all of you that may not be a veteran are a supporter, because right now, our democracy is being torn apart. When I rose my right hand and I swore in the United States Army on September 11, 2006, and they were in, let me tell you something. I rose my right hand to protect our democracy.
It's not good money. And both
And defend our Constitution.
Oh, plenty, yeah.
Thanks for being here, y'all.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, would you care for election like that?
There was some ingredient I didn't like in it. I think it was aspartame or something. So
That makes sense.
one time, and then once I read it, I was like, I don't want it. Am I right?
I think
stevia.
Oh, Steve, I'm okay with. Yeah, I'll take one.
Yeah.
This
We've also
one
got that or watermelon.
It's citrus.
citrus. That's
They're
cool.
very salty. Be prepared for it.
Okay, thank you.
I'm probably the least prepared person that's gonna speak. But I guess I just wanted to. When I figured out I was transgender, I was in 6th grade, and I only had one person to tell, and she really helped me out and just gave me a space to be myself. And I'd always struggled with mental health throughout all my life, throughout like you know, I had gone to counseling for 6 years and done anything, and community has been the most important thing, and it always will be. And I'm a senior. I'm a senior in high school, and I plan to go to the University of Texas at San Antonio and to major in art, which is probably I think the importance of art is it's our history. If you look at the history of humankind, there's ceramics, there's transcripts, there's, you know, the cave paintings that left on the walls. When you die, all that you have is what you left behind in our material world, and to put that on a piece of paper or on a rock or make it yourself, it's just, you're leaving part of yourself there. And the importance of art, that's how the Holocaust, they burned all the paintings, they burned their books, they burned their creations to burn them. Yeah, and I've never done this before. Just remember the importance of art. Remember that you know, kids are afraid to talk. Luckily, it's weird to be a trans kid and become a trans adult, and it's really hard, but it's really worth it. It's weird because sometimes I feel like I don't fit into the trans community, and maybe it's not about coming together as a trans community. Maybe it was never about like our shared interests or anything, but more about like our shared interest to survive, and just anything beyond that. It becomes hard to make friends, but it's important to come together. I don't know. I kind of just I just throw things to the wall and see what sticks. You know what I mean? So that's important. You got to keep doing that. So I don't know what more I have to say. I just want to really put in the importance of art and really look at all the art you can, and just dissect everything, because that's all you'll have, and when you die, you'll just have what you left behind. So I want to give it to the next person now. I'm done talking. Thank you all. Oh yeah, my name is Aaron. I don't know if I said that, but here you go.
Transitioning is the American dream realized. The Declaration of Independence calls for everyone to have the pursuit of happiness. And what is that if not being... I didn't plan this very well. But it's the First Amendment of the Constitution, freedom of expression. Here we are expressing ourselves, and they want to stop that. That is not constitutional. That is not the America I learned of when I grew up. And that is not the America I want to live in. My name is Talia. Thank you, everybody. This is Giga. That's all I had to say.
Hey, I'm Hugo. This is kind of spur of the moment, but I remember being a weird little girl. Like, I remember I watched Star Wars and I looked at Luke Skywalker and I was like, I want to be Luke Skywalker. And people would say, oh, you would love Princess Leia. Princess Leia is awesome. And I was like, I mean, yeah, Princess Leia is awesome. I want to be Luke Skywalker. And I didn't get it back then. Like, I didn't have the words that I needed to express how I felt. But it was there. It's always been there. It's all throughout human history. We have always been here. By other names, by other roles in society, but we have always been here because it is a natural thing to be. I don't have that much to say, but I do have this one thing. No matter what you do, no matter what people say, what legislation they push, our love for each other needs to outmatch their hate for us. No matter how angry you are, you must love your trans siblings with that much ardor. That's really all I got. See ya.
Hello, my name is Brooke, and I'm cis. I've never really questioned my identity that much, but I do have a lovely trans girlfriend. And she's had a lot of religious trauma, and I know that a lot of you probably also have religious trauma. But me, myself, I'm a Buddhist. I come from a long line of Buddhists, and I even have aunts who have dedicated their lives to Buddhism. They are nuns at temples, and I know that in Christianity, many queer people struggle to find something that they can relate to. They look at their God and they don't see an image that reflects themselves. Buddhism is a bit misinformed here in the school system. They tell you we're monotheistic. We're not. We're polytheistic. And one of our gods, who I am wearing her image currently, her name is Quan Thế Âm Bồ in Vietnamese. She's trans. She is the goddess of love, compassion. She is the goddess of medicine. She was originally a male Buddha, but we regard her as the mother. She is the mother who we look to find love, to find compassion, to find health. And you don't have to believe in religion. You don't have to believe in your God. You don't have to believe in my God, but to know that there is someone out there that does believe, and we worship someone just like you. We worship a God who is just like you, and in my religion, we believe that everyone has the possibility to become a God. We believe that if you do good things in your life, eventually you will become a God too. You are the God of your own universe. And maybe you don't believe that. I do, but maybe that can give you some comfort. That's all. I just wanted to give you some comfort because there are people like you that are recognized throughout various cultures, various religions. If your God tells you that you are wrong, there are other gods that can tell you that you're just fine. You're just like them. Yeah, that's about all I wanted to say.
Hi, I'm Bree. Hi. I'm trans, I'm visible. We're all visible here. We gotta show them that we're not going anywhere at all. We're not going nowhere. And they're so obsessed with our genitals. Like, oh my God, like, why are you so obsessed with our genitals for? Like, it's ridiculous. Like, mind your own business. We're, you know, like, it's just ridiculous. Like, what they're doing. And I don't know if y'all saw this video that's been going around, that's been shared like everywhere. You know, this APD slammed down a trans woman on the ground, and they're lying. APD on the news, KXAN, all these corporate news stations are lying. They're liars. What we saw what happened. I was there. I'm a trans woman myself. I was with my friend Lizzardo King. We were there, we saw everything that happened, and then not only that, but what happened in Los Angeles, they shot, LAPD shot a transgender woman as well. These police officers have biases, the politicians, they all have biases towards us. They hate us. The police are the oppressors, they always been the oppressors. You all remember Stonewall? Yeah. Police raided Stonewall. And then also they raided the club Rain as well here in Austin, Texas. This needs to stop. Like, stop the police brutality, you know, as well. And when I was filming what happened, to seeing my trans sister like slam down on the ground like that, blood on her face and everything, you know, it's like you're seeing it. It's right there live. In real life, seeing it, filming it. We have to share it. We have to share it to everybody to let people know what's been happening, what's going on. And today, like, politicians are attacking us left and right. They're attacking us. They want this to continue to happen. Who's the next trans person? It can happen to anybody. She doesn't have to be trans for that to happen. She could be black, brown, person of color, you know, a woman. This can happen to anyone, you know, anybody. This can happen to anyone. And this needs to stop, you know, and they need to stop attacking us. They need to stop worrying about our genitals. They need to stop worrying about what restaurant we go to. Just let us live our lives. We want to live our lives. We want to pee. We want to pee in peace. We want to pee in peace. Leave us alone. You know, leave us alone, you know, but we have to keep pressuring them. We got to keep fighting and let them know we're not going to go anywhere at all. We're not going nowhere. Thank you.
Hi. I also did not prepare to speak. My name is Marco, like Marco Polo, and I want to talk about storytelling and visibility. So I grew up in a very sheltered household, a very Catholic household, and I remember a point in my life when I didn't know other trans people existed. The first time that I heard of somebody like me was a character in a book, and I held on to that book. I would check it out from the library every single time, repeatedly, just to go home and in the middle of the night open those pages and make sure that I saw correctly that there is somebody like me somewhere. And it took so much time for me to start to think about, what if the author is somebody like me? What if it's not just a character, there's a real person, one other queer person somewhere in the world? And that for a long time had to be my community. That for a long time had to be my comfort. And, you know, I'm 28 now, and the world has changed so much just in the little time that I have been alive. There are so many queer stories, there are so many trans stories, and I know now what so many of us know, which is that we exist across cultures, across eras, across all sorts of communities. No matter where humans have been, we have made art, we have made music, we have things that are a part of us, and being queer and being trans is part of that. We are everywhere, and we have always existed, and we will always exist. We're not going anywhere. Now, I'm also an artist, so I think a lot about this, about visibility, about what we look at and what is important to look at, what we decide to put in museums, why something is so important that everybody see it, right? And that's what we are doing here today. One of my favorite things that I've heard is that humanity is like an orchestra. You don't have to be the whole orchestra, but you gotta play your one note. You have to wait until it is your time, and then you play your one note, and it is part of this beautiful tapestry that we are all doing together. So, when you come out here to the marches, to the rallies, to the Capitol, when you have your queer movie nights and queer craft nights, when you hang out with your friend, when you have your first tea for tea experience, all of those, that is all part of being visible. That is all part of the artwork of humanity. That is all part of you being a storyteller, you being an artist, and you playing your note in this beautiful orchestra. There was a time when I didn't know queer people existed, and there was also a time when I didn't know queer people existed past 21, 22 years old. I am so glad now to know and see and be in community with trans elders, and I look so forward to being a trans elder myself one day. Everything that is going on in here and in the United States wants to go back to a world where hypothetically in the future some child is alone and doesn't even have a book, doesn't even know that there's somebody like them. But we're all here, and there's even more of us, and we're in the grocery store, and we're in the libraries, and we're at the soup kitchens, and we're everywhere. So sometimes it is fighting back, and sometimes it is just staying alive and showing up as yourself, being visibly queer, being visibly gender non-conforming, being whoever you are, talking about it, being a happer. So I am proud of you, so proud of you for being here today. And if you're not at a point where you can be visible, that's okay. Wait until it's your chance and play your one note. And thank you to everyone who organized this.
Yet another cis speaker here, so I'll keep it real quick for y'all. My name is my name is Bear, pronouns are they, them, and Dad. I just wanted to say to the folks here, the Veterans for Equality, thank you very much. Street Medics Austin, thank you for keeping us safe as we exercise our rights here that are no longer certainly guaranteed under this regime. Unfortunately, if they were that easily dismantled, then they were never great protections to begin with. We need to make those fights, we need to keep fighting in the legislature. Much respect to everybody who hasn't lost faith in our electoral process so far, and thank you for fighting for us out there and our loved ones. I'm an accomplice. I don't call myself an ally because that implies that you're not going and willing to go as far as you need to in order to protect the people that you love. And I love all of you with the unconditional love of a parent who's not a piece of shit. It's not a high bar to clear, but there's a lot of them out there who don't. I just wanted to say that I love each and every one of you. If anyone needs a hug, I can give you a nice, long, healing hug for both of us involved. So come up and find me later if you'd like. And to the rest of us out there, the rest of us calling ourselves allies, we need you to be accomplices. We need you to go out there and do the fight in the streets out here with us. I'm not advocating violence, no, not at all. I'm saying we need to keep the pressure on. We need to put the onus on ourselves, because as allies, we are armored by our privilege in a way that our friends and our loved ones are not, and we need to use that armor. We need to armor up, and we need to protect them and put ourselves in the way of our loved ones, of our most vulnerable, of the least of these, as was said earlier, and we need to step up and protect our loved ones. And that's not just the glamorous coming out to rallies. That's not just the holding signs and wearing shirts. It is the everyday practice of making yourself a person that is available, that is a person that other people see as a friend, as an ally, of acting in kindness and wearing your pride for your loved ones on you as well. So wear those shirts. But when you make yourself available to a person who needs you, and you feel that feeling that comes from them, that relief, you want to go out there and you want to do more, and you want to just remember people's names when you see them again, and use it again, and remember how much that means. But we need to be doing that as allies, my fellow cis sisters and cis men. We need to make sure that we're the ones who are taking the hit. Thank you very much to everybody out here for being here, and for Melody for organizing this wonderful get together.
Hey y'all! You guys are beautiful and amazing! Woo! Can you guys please just take a moment and we know that right now you are a part of history, showing up and showing out! I want to thank Melody, I want to thank Jael for inviting me, and I want to thank y'all for showing what it's like, that you guys are not going to lay down, that you guys are not going to be quiet, and you are fucking seen! I want to say another thing. If y'all are afraid to step up on these steps, don't. You paid for this government. You live here. You deserve to stand up for your rights. Come up here and know that you have a space, you have a voice, and you are valued. My name is Christina, and I am here, and I was going to say I was an ally, but I am an accomplice. I am here for you. But more importantly, I love the fact that you are here for each other right now. There's so much that I want to say, but specifically, I feel so inclined to tell you that you guys are just so amazing. You do so much work by just being present, choosing to show up for yourself, choosing to show up for each other, and that is so important because even if you were scared, I'm so glad you took the time to be here. I'm so glad that you are making a difference right now. And it makes me so emotional because I know I'm not doing this for myself. I'm doing this for my friend Reese too, where they're not even loved in their own family. They had to come talk to me. They have religious hurt. I'm like, I'm a Christian woman and I know this is not the America that they were wanted to be in. They don't even have a choice. So when I see people stand up for each other like this, I wish they could have that community. I wish they could know they don't have to live in Texas. They don't have to live anywhere else to belong. Like, I want them to know that they have the right to live and they have the right to exist peacefully. And right now, the fact that you guys are standing up here, I know that you're gonna stand up for immigrants. I know you're gonna stand up for those who are being oppressed with rights. I know you're gonna stand up whenever you see someone on the street and they're being bullied or harassed. I know the last thing you're gonna think about is race. I know the last thing you're gonna think about is finances and whether or not you have the ability to help someone. You're just gonna do it. And you guys should be so proud of yourselves right now. I want you guys to know that in Houston, the first rally that I had, well, I came here to Austin on 2/5 for 5051. The first rally that I organized with one other person, it was just the two of us. We had 500 people show up. And so the fact, Melody, that you've been doing the 66 days, sometimes that's 66 days longer than you would have imagined. That's 66 days longer than anyone else. But I'm also here to encourage you all. It doesn't take anything except for you, maybe your best friend. All it takes is those two people. It just takes you willing to talk about it. It takes you even doing it afraid. You can do this. We can do this together. And I know this is a simple phrase, and it's for the people who are listening or the people who aren't fucking listening inside. I want you to chant this with me. I know it's very simple, but I want you guys to say, trans rights are human rights. 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 That's amazing, you guys. Woo! I want you guys to know you are allowed to speak your voice and be fucking loud. I'm 5'0" ass. It doesn't matter. You're gonna hear me before you even fucking see me. I'm ready. I'm gonna be here actually this Thursday. I'll be here, and I'm not gonna say the senator's name because I'm not gonna endorse anybody. But the point is, I'm gonna be here lobbying inside this building, and thank God there are bills right now being passed for more rights. And I want you guys to know you deserve to be inside speaking up, saying your rights too. There's nothing anybody can make you be afraid of. And I'm speaking for all those who have been afraid or all those who feel like this isn't their fight. It's everybody's fucking fight! So take your head out of your ass or out of the sand and fucking stand up and fight. There is no reason to not fight. Thank you. Exactly. And I want you guys to know any little bit of sharing, any little bit of just being able to say, look, we can do this together. Any little glimpse, again, that word hope, right? Hope. Don't lose hope of that. Please don't. You guys are so worth it because you guys are the ones intentional. You are the ones right now. And you know, if it just takes that one conversation, it just takes that one moment. You say, hey, I know it doesn't seem like much, but we're doing something so that I know that I can stand up for the next person next to me. And that goes for accomplices, that goes for trans, that goes for anybody else, any race, anything. The fact is, you are doing it. You guys are doing it right fucking now. And after this is all over, just like my beautiful friend Giles, she's such a bad bitch. Look at her battle jacket. Look at her battle armor, right? This is the point where you get to put this on your heart as a battle armor moment, that you get to put this on your heart, that you showed up today for this battle, right? If the war may be long, but we're gonna fucking keep battling. Thank you guys for welcoming me. Thank you guys for helping, and just thank you guys for being so loving towards one another. And I hope you guys know you are seen. And I just want to do one last chant. I'm gonna say, I see you, and I want you to say, I am seen, okay? I see you. I see you. I see you. I see you. You guys are fucking beautiful. Have a great day.
Hi, my name is Ari, and I was at the Tesla protest last Saturday. And there were a lot of people driving by, and there was this one guy, and he flipped me and my friend off, and I was wearing the same gear. And my mom, they had to pull over because traffic was stopped, and my mom was like screaming at them and was like, show me that finger again. Why did you flip off my children? That's not nice, it's not kind. And then, not too soon after, I saw a 10-year-old flip me off again. And I was very sad about what had happened that day. And my mom told me that there was this thing happening today. And I had therapy right before it. And so I asked if I could come after school, or miss school or whatever, to come to this protest. And she had happily said yes. I was really excited to come, and then I'd asked the person who organized this, I believe, Melody, to let me speak, and she had said yes. And I would like to thank her, Melody, once again, for letting me speak. That's all I have to say.
Hey. My name is Mickey Dell. I am with Melody. I do not want to be here today. I do not want to be here making the case for my existence. I am of a certain age, and I have been in the LGBT community for my whole life, really. I am, in addition to being a trans woman, I am also bi. And in the 80s and 90s, I took part in the Pride marches, and thank you. We elders like to say we marched so that you could parade. And I believed that, and it was a bit of a trap. Yeah, it's better. And it does continue to get better. It gets better all the time, but the battle never ends. Dr. King said the arc of history is long, but it bends toward justice. And I believe that it's just the individual days in between that really suck. And we gotta survive them. And it's going to get better. It's going to get better in your lifetimes. Even the youngest among you, it's going to get better in your lifetime, and it will not be over in your lifetime. The battle is going to last a very long time. When we marched, we said, we're here, we're queer, get used to it. And now I find myself saying, we're here, we're queer, and quite frankly, I thought you'd be used to it now. But they're not, and they're not going to be, so we have to keep fighting. And I don't want to be here. I didn't want to be marching in Pride when I did it. I just knew I had to. And I had to be here today. And I'm so glad that you're here today. Thank you to every single one of you. And thank you so much to Melody for making it happen. We will fight, and we will overcome.
All right, I'm going to try to keep it short because I know I've already taken 20 minutes of your time earlier. But I wanted to talk about a couple of things that have been really touching me being here today. The first is that, as some people have alluded to, there's been an intentional segregation among our community that has happened over the decades, keeping us apart from each other, not only among different stripes of the LGBTQ community, but even as trans people. There are these generational divides of missing people, right? We had the AIDS crisis, which should rightfully be called a genocide, because the government was withholding help and wasn't doing anything when people were dying. And the only reason they weren't helping was because they were queer, and they were people of color, and they were poor. And because of that genocide, many of us here around my age don't have queer elders in our communities. We lost a lot of them. And looking around here today, I get to see the men and women that I want people around me to become. I get people to look up to. And that's not something I get to see every day. And for the young ones in the crowd today, cherish this moment. Because there are some people here who've seen some shit. And there's some people that don't have this community. And we are so grateful to have you here, to be part of that community, to be our little brothers and sisters, and our non-binary siblings. And I'd actually actually just like an opportunity to highlight the elders that we have around us. So if it's okay with everybody, I'm gonna shout out age groups, and I want that age group to cheer. And we can give them a round of applause for being here. For my under 20s, can we get a round of applause for our under 20s? And can those under 20s give us a shout? Can the under 30s shout for me? Can between the 30s and 40s shout for me? 40s and 50s? 50s and 60s? Do we have any 60s and 70s? 70s and 80s? Ooh, okay. But hey, that's incredible. Because before I went to the Trans Unity Coalition protest in Washington, D.C. on March 1st, I had never met a trans woman in real life that was older than me. And now I can say I've met dozens.
What's your, have we got contact info from you?
I, you know, without going into too much detail, I grew up in a home without love. And I grew up in a very abusive home, and it's left me with complex post-traumatic stress disorder, which means in a lot of ways there are years of my life that I don't have. They're just blank spaces in my memory that occasionally the fragments will come together and I'll get a glimpse of what happened. And it's up to me as an adult to sort through it. Recently, I've come to understand that my trans experience started very, very early, but that I'd forgotten most of it because the trauma was too much. And I didn't get to be the little girl that I was. And it prevented me from being the woman I am for a very long time. And I just have to say, watching these young people come up here and speak is very I know I probably speak for a lot of people here when I say it's healing for them too. Because we didn't get that opportunity, and so let's just cherish that and cherish each other in this moment. And thank you so much to our trans elders that are here. It means more to me and more to a lot of us than you'll ever know. Thank you so much.
Hi everybody, my name is Alexandro, and this is the first time I've ever been to something like this. Thank you. I didn't come here today thinking I would end up on stage, so I'm a little underprepared. But the first time I saw another trans man, that's when I knew I could do that too. 'Cause that was me, I was seeing. And just like that here today, I saw all of you coming up here speaking, gave me the courage to come up here and speak as well. So thank you very much. And I just wanted to say, there's rules in society, you know, they say men gotta wear the pants, women gotta wear the skirt, you know, but we're society too. We get to make the rules too. That's right. So I think Picasso said it best when he said, learn the rules like a pro, so you can break them like a fucking artist! Can I get a trans rights are human rights too a few times? Trans rights are human rights! Trans rights are human rights! Trans rights are human rights! Trans rights! Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much for coming here today and showing everybody that it's okay to be trans. It's okay to be you. Whatever flavor of you it is, be that. With that, pass it on to the next speaker. Thank you again, everybody.
Thank you. Everyone gathered here today, I wish it could be under happier circumstances, but
I feel like I have something that I need to say. I would like, if you will, to paint a picture for all of you. It's not going to be a good picture. It's a picture of a society broken, in turmoil, with reactionaries storming the gates in every position of power, in government, in business, with impunity, having literally attempted several times to subvert the federal government and eventually succeeding. Yep. These reactionaries are obsessed with a minority of the population on the scale of approximately 0.5% to 1% or so, approximately, of the population. This small sector of the population, whom they see as evil, depraved, dishonest by their very existence, subversive, perverted. These are the terms that they use. These are the terms that they use, the ideas that they bandy about in describing this sector of the population. And this sector of the population consumes them. This obsession that they have consumes them. They are monomaniacally obsessed with denying basic rights to this section of the population, basic human existence. Now, I kept this deliberately vague because intentionally, this does not describe just one society and just one minority. It describes many over long, long periods of time. But in particular, I was describing the Jews in Weimar to Nazi era Germany. Now, if you were envisaging the society that I was depicting, and you thought about America today, this was also a description of trans people in modern America. My great-grandparents, all but one of them, and the remainder, her parents, they all came from Eastern Europe to flee anti-Semitic persecution, pogroms, riots, attempted reprisals at so-called subversive plots against empires and tsars. People thought that my Jewish ancestors were responsible for all of the ills of society, in spite of being just a small sector of society. They spread lurid lies about us. They spread almost pornographic propaganda meant as an attack, as a dagger against our very personhood. Every time I see a conservative talk about transgender people as some kind of menace, some kind of ideological rot afflicting society, I look back at those old cartoons in Der Stürmer, and I see the parallels. Every one of us probably grew up learning about the Nazis, about how they came to power, about how they eventually decided to round up the Jews of the territories under their domain, and various other minorities and political dissidents, with the hope eventually of exterminating them altogether. And I bet many of us thought, if I were in that situation, I would have done something about it. I would have sheltered these beleaguered minorities. I would have fought back against the Nazi government. against the Nazi Party and their functionaries and their soldiers and their shock troops. Well, consider the situation that we are in today. What would you do about this menace that is afflicting our society, this menace of transphobia that seeks to eliminate us from the face of the earth? Transphobia is a mortal enemy. There is a quote that I think of, that I've been thinking of a lot lately. It has been variously attributed, mostly to Edmund Burke, but also to other people such as Plato and Einstein. And it says, roughly, the only requirement for evil to triumph is for good people to do nothing. Well, evil is at the gates. Evil is storming in. Evil has a battering ram and is hoping to bash our door in. Evil is hoping to spirit us away from our homes and into slave camps in El Salvador. What are we going to do about it? What are we going to do about the evil that is afflicting our society? Exactly. We must, with all our effort, with every fiber of our being, fight back against the reactionary menace that seeks to see us humiliated, that seeks to see us eliminated from public life and even from this mortal plane altogether. We must live, and we must ensure that all of us stick out of this alive. Exactly. We cannot be killed in a way that matters. No matter what, no matter how many people the menace that is the Republican Party and their shameful enablers that exist in a distinctive minority across the aisle. No matter how many of them attempts to legislate us out of existence, to gerrymander legal definitions, to attempt to eliminate gender variance from society. No matter how many transgender people they spirit away to prisons and labor camps in El Salvador and wherever else, immigration Gehenna in Louisiana, no matter how many, we will still exist. Because to be transgender is nothing less than following the prime human directive towards freedom. And where humanity lives, there shall remain a spark of freedom. And we must jealously guard this spark with our lives. Now, so many of my ancestors, their lives were saved because they were able to get out. They were able to get the hell out of Dodge before the going got too tough. I can only presume that members of my extended family were not so lucky. Evil will pass, but it will kill many. It will ruin countless lives. We need to ensure that as many of us make it as is possible. We need to ensure that this scourge on our society, this reactionary scourge, we need to protect as many people as possible from it. We need to always keep in the back of our minds those of us who were not fortunate enough those who were not fortunate enough to live long enough to see the battle won.